everyone. Welcome back to the Reality Roundup. I am Maddie. That is Mariama. We will be talking about this new season of Love is Blind today, season 8. First 3 episodes, they are in Minneapolis. And it's a show that's happening right now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, what did you think of the first three episodes, Maddie?
Well, without my friend here to watch them with me, I have a house guest. I think I would have been bored out of my absolute mind.
It was very difficult for me to get through these
Yeah.
episodes, and you know what? The girls get mad every season. This is why you need a character like Ramses on this show. This is why you need a clay. Honestly, this is why you need the DEI hires. there's no DEI here, and it's
Wake it
very
up.
very boring.
Yes.
Yeah, you need a conventionally attractive colored fuckboy every once in a while.
Or you
And
need to at least let the colored people speak more often.
I mean, there's only like three of them to start. They're not much less more. They're not any less boring than the other people. Like we need
Well,
different archetypes. Also, colored is a slur, so let's just we did a little much right there.
sorry.
um, Yeah. It's a show. It's an episode. I do want to say like you made a comment before we started filming that this was like really like Midwestern.
Oh my God, yeah.
I yeah. Yeah. Yeah, everyone really does seem like have you heard the phrase like Minnesota nice?
Yes.
I do think there was a lot of that like energy here.
Oh,
Like
100%.
especially on the men's side. It had some like honestly, I don't think there's a single man here that doesn't have like a glaring red flag to me that we've met so far, and like
Ooh,
honestly half of the women. But I like so far though I am still like kind of bored with the show.
I am kind of bored, yeah.
But you ready to get started?
Yes, yes.
Our first couple that we're going to talk about are Joey and Monica, because we did see
Hmm.
them get engaged at the end of episode 2. um what do you think of Joey and Monica?
I think they're so cute. Like
I,
I go ahead.
I'm sorry for interrupting, but like I honestly don't know anything about Monica. Now, I was watching in
Oh.
1.5 speed, so I may have missed some of the things, but like she's like really bubbly is kind of like all I got, but finish your
No,
thought.
I don't think that you're wrong because I did not watch at 1.5 speed and I cannot tell you anything about Monica. And I also really can't tell you anything about Joey either. Um, other than them being happy.
I know considerably more about Joey. So I did note that she's Chilean. I caught that.
Oh, yes, yes. Hmm.
And then for Joey specifically, like immediate red flag, he described himself as a golden retriever. I think that's one of those phrases, one of those labels that you have to let other people give to you. It's
But he's right.
Do you think he's right? I don't think he's right.
I think so, right.
I think he's going to disappoint us.
Oh.
I'm seeing Trevor in his eyes.
Oh my God. First of all, I don't think that he's not going to disappoint us. But much like actual golden retrievers, they look very pretty and they're very bubbly, but they tend to have terrible
Well, no,
attitudes.
no, no. I'm not talking about dogs. I'm talking about the moniker of golden retriever in like the online lexicon of
That,
just like
yes.
this really like almost like himbo. I think it's just like it's like a new generation like himbo, really
Yes.
really handsome, large like man that's kind of a little like oblivious, a little like clueless.
Yes. I think he is a golden
Totally
retriever.
harmless. I think golden retrievers in the like online lexicon are harmless. There isn't anything below the surface. And I do think there is something that archetype, like what it really is described, is someone who is that way, sort of
Hmm.
naturally, intrinsically, and
Hmm.
intuitively, and unaware of it. The fact that he's walking around calling
That's your
himself is
crux. Yeah.
a golden retriever isn't like to me is a red flag because it's like you're not supposed to be aware that you're a golden retriever. Like other people are
Mm.
supposed to tell you that you're supposed to be kind of clueless. And the
Hmm.
fact that he is like aware of it kind of lets me know that it might be like a bit performative, like to a degree. I do think like so far he seems like quite harmless. That's just a red flag that I want to be on. I want to put a I just want to state that flag down and
You know
be
I'll
on the
never
lookout
defend a
for.
man, so that is completely fair. I think that's completely fair. I mean, there's somebody's got to be I mean, several people are already disappointing, but somebody has got to be disappointing. That's usually how one of these things goes.
Now, interesting thing about them, I feel like they kind of locked in immediately. We didn't really see them have any other
Yeah.
connections. Like I said, we had a lot about him. We may have had more about her. I just don't remember it. But for him, we he talks about being homeschooled and
Mm,
then going to high school at a public school and like not fitting in and dressing weird and
yeah.
yada yada yada. But then he was like a really good football player, which honestly he does have like football player energy. Like I feel like I clocked that immediately. um,
Yes.
but he talked about having like all of these Division 1 offers and then choosing to stay home. He went to grad school. He's helping support his family.
Yeah.
He lost a sister. This was like the one. This was like one thing about him that I like. I honestly did kind of admire is the way he talked about like his sister's death because
Mm,
I think that like people try to like manufacture connection like really fast in these pods, and they will often do so by like pointing to like really like by just like spilling a lot of like their
absolutely.
trauma. And I think like his like sort of the way he navigated that conversation was like, hey, like we'll talk about it later. Like I'll share all that stuff, but like right now I just want to like get to know each other.
Yeah.
I thought that was like kind of interesting. Like this was like a little bit of like these were some of the stuff that kind of like retrieved. What am I trying to say? Um,
Revived?
redeemed.
Redeemed.
these are
Okay.
these are some of the things that I noticed that kind of like redeemed him, in my opinion,
Mm,
from like my original assessment. Because I was just like, oh, fuck boy, who knows that girls are using this sort of thing to like denote a safe man and is like playing into it to like
yeah.
to be a sheep a wolf in sheep's clothing. But like when he started kind of like talking, I was like, okay, maybe there is like a little bit more depth to Joey here.
I
Yeah,
think the death thing is very interesting because it's in such sharp contrast to, oh my gosh, from last season.
Tim.
Yes, like such sharp contrast to Tim.
There were other people even in this season that were because like I don't remember which conversations were it was which couples, but there were several couples that talked about things not even to do with like family tragedy, but just like with themselves, with their with like their own sort of things. That I was just like, why are you talking about this at 3 days at you know 40 48 56 hours of knowing this
Yeah.
person, especially if you're planning to get married, like you're gonna go on a honeymoon, like there's time to kind of get into this stuff. It sort of just seems like here, take this, take this, take this.
Yes.
Don't you?
Yes.
And I think like the women, especially on this season, seem like particularly desperate to like secure a husband, to secure a
Mm-hmm.
proposal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that makes me, and we'll get there, think about Madison and the way that she has described things that have gone on with her and then attachment style foolishness and all of that jazz.
Madison. You know what? I'll think about it when I get there. Oh,
The square.
Madison. I do. Yeah, love Square. I do like me some Madison. But I probably will get there. Do you have anything else on Joey and Monica?
No, I just, my favorite part of the whole entire show is always the reveal. And I just really, really enjoyed their reveal because it was just, no matter if it's portent of things to come or not, that's their business. Well, it'll be our business soon. But I just love how happy and giggly they were. And they just seemed like so like happy. And I was like, you know what? I like this for you all. Hopefully we can maintain this energy
Yeah, yeah. We shall see.
because we've seen some wonderful reveals that have ended in disaster.
Yeah, I don't think I think their reveals seemed like really normal to me. It didn't seem it seemed like they were a good match like personality wise. It
Mhm.
was it was as boring as their conversations to me, honestly.
Yeah, they just
uh,
were I'm hoping they're my normal couple, what I call my normal couple, which is just the
yeah,
couple
you
that
know
walks
what? I
in.
yes, I agree with that. Like I think I noted that as well too. They seem like they're gonna be like the steady boring couple that makes
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
to the end.
Hopefully they're my boring couple with Johnny and Amy problems.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, you ready to move on?
Yes.
So our next couple, well, it's the love square. So we're here
Oh, bless.
in that love square where it kind of seems like you have two people at the center, in my opinion, right? Tell me if you
Mm,
disagree. You have Madison and Mason in the
absolutely.
middle of it all, and then Mason is sort of talking to Madison and Meg, and then Madison is talking to Mason and Alex.
Absolutely.
So those are our That's our love square where Alex doesn't really have another connection and Meg doesn't really have another connection. What do you think about this love square?
I mean, where do you want to start? Because I got problems with everybody in this love square at this point in
Let's
time.
start with the one thing that turned me off the most, maybe from the whole this batch of episodes.
Yeah.
The white people pyramid conspiracies, like white people's
Yes.
refusal to
Yes.
just believe that black people just made something. Like black folks just built some pyramids.
Thank you
Like
so much.
like black people have the capacity to think and do some math and measure some stone. Like they're like, no, impossible, absolutely couldn't be. It must be aliens. Meg, I let me see, let me make sure because all these people kind of look alike to me. Let me make sure Meg is who I
I
think she is
can't stand
because I feel like
that.
Meg and somebody else kind of look quite a
Mariama, I can't stand what is her real name? Margaret. I can't stand Margaret.
child. I've been calling her Megan. I never saw that her real name was Margaret.
It's Margaret. It's
I don't.
Margaret.
Is she the one that's like? Is she the one that's like? I feel like she's kind of funny until she started. Like she's a lot, but I think like there are like small moments where she's mildly entertaining. This ain't one of them. Her and Mason are also the people that talk about their love of Christopher Nolan movies.
Yes.
Yeah, they are both kind of insufferable.
They are insufferable. And then which I almost wanted to label her as a pick me, but then I realized he hadn't even said this yet. When she's like, "Oh, my favorite movie is her," I was like,
No,
out of all the
no,
movies,
no. He says it.
he says it to Madison. And then,
Oh,
yeah,
oh, and
this
then
is,
she brings it up.
and she said, or he says
Oh,
to Madison, "This is my favorite movie." But then when he's
which
talking to Margaret, Margaret says it's her favorite movie.
no, I thought she said Inception was her favorite movie. I
Her
think
is her favorite Christopher Nolan movie.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes,
So
her is a Spike
I've
Jones
never
movie.
seen her, but from everything that I've read and all of like, because I do like watching movie reviews, even like the ones
Yes,
I don't watch. I feel like the way he described her was the biggest red flag of the whole episode. He says a
thank you.
man just falls in love with the voice and he doesn't care about the body. I was like, I don't think that's what that movie is about, babes. Like
It's not.
I think there's like a little bit more commentary on like the objectification of women and like
Yeah, the man falls in love with an AI woman. Like that is the
like
whole point of that
I think we
movie.
should be having a conversation here around like servitude and women and like that sort of thing.
He doesn't care about that. He
And
cares about the
I've never watched the
cinematography.
movie and it's his favorite movie and I was like, darling.
And when for her to
That was
say
a
that
red
that was
flag.
her, I was like, and then also for Inception to be your favorite Christopher Nolan movie, bleh. But
Never
that's
seen
just
that.
me.
Never seen that one either. I mean, those things didn't like um flag for me like that. I just thought like
Mm,
his like talking about her, the way he described it specific, like nothing wrong with it being his favorite movie, but like clearly you didn't understand it.
no.
And then the other thing that I do want to say about these two is um they do a thing that I really, really hate when people do. When people have like the most basic interests and like pretend, and maybe I'm confusing them with somebody else, but like pretend it's like some like serious niche like connection.
Yes.
Like they're like, I can't
Yes.
believe you love Inception. I'm like, are you talking about the movie that grossed like $30
I know
billion
exactly
globally?
what
Like, what are we
moment
talking about?
that probably triggered, well, it triggered me and my friend when she said something along the lines of like edgy and things like Moulin Rouge. And we literally paused and we were like, Moulin Rouge? Like, girl, you mean one of the most famous musicals of all time?
All time. This was worse than where is it? What's the shawty's name? Ramsey's wife, Melissa Miranda
Mar
Marissa.
Marissa, there we go.
Marissa and Bodie last season going like, we love fantasy. Oh, have you read Harry Potter?
Please be so serious.
Oh my
Please.
days.
It was literally so bad. We literally, I was like, Moulin Rouge. Like, this isn't, but then I had to remember they were in Minnesota. But then I also had to remember when they were talking about the pyramids, I was like, Tim Walls, you've been leading us astray about your education in
Yeah.
Minnesota
Oh
because
yes,
what are you
Meg.
talking about?
Meg is the woman that's like, oh, I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh my God. Marbles,
Meg,
marbles in there.
Marble? Yeah. Okay.
Marbles, babe. I don't
Yeah, the
know.
only the only thing I wrote about Meg is that she's a conspiracy theorist. We like I think the reason why I did like her is because we saw a lot of her in the pods with the other women,
Yes.
like chatting it up. I think she was like a little better in those moments, but like specifically in I don't know. I wrote one of these girls was a pick me. I don't know if it was her, if it was another one that was in a
I have a
no, I think
question
it
for
was the
you.
other one in the other love triangle.
Oh Lord. I have a question for you about Margaret.
Yeah.
Did you notice that sometimes she has a black scent?
No, I did not notice that.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
you know what I did notice? Skirt. I noticed when she was like, it's like when she was talking about like you're the only one for me. Yeah,
Yes.
I did. It seemed natural, if I must say.
It did not.
It didn't piss me off. That's all I'll say.
It bothered me because it seemed to only be when she was talking to the black girls. And I was
Oh,
like,
I didn't notice that. Like I thought she was just talking to like a. I didn't know. I thought maybe one of those scenes she wasn't she not talking to a white girl? I did notice that her and Brittany had
yeah,
a scene together where
yes,
Brittany was like, "Are you jonesing?" And like they were kind of going.
yes.
They seem to have a
That
rapport.
seemed fun. I just was like, oh my God. There were several moments where I was like, am I being crazy? But then I was like, no, I think
Now that you mention it, it didn't register like too crazy. It didn't offend me at the
it
time
bothered it
when I
annoyed
heard it.
me.
I didn't register it as a black scent until you've just now said it. So like that's what I mean. Like I didn't register that she was like putting on a black scent until you just said it. And I was like, oh yeah, I do remember a few things. Now let's talk about our girl. Well, let's talk about the other side of it. I do want to say that like Mason seems to interact with these two women like very differently.
Yes.
And for that reason, I really do hope he chooses Meg and that Madison chooses Alex. So all four of them can go.
I agree. I completely 150% agree.
Oh, honestly, I think Madison will regret that decision more than he will regret his decision. But
Ooh. Okay, well then let's talk about Alex then.
I don't know. I don't think I like Alex.
I don't think I like Alex
I
anymore.
think the first thing we learned about Alex is how he was like, girls didn't like me in high school, and I don't think he talked about much. Like I mean, I didn't hear it if he talked about anything else.
I mean, he has some good, well, here's the thing, is we see him the most often with Madison,
Madison is
and
his only connection
yes, and
after like day one.
Madison does, we noticed this last night that Madison does a lot of talking,
Yeah.
and then he does a lot of mm-hms and yes, and like some assurances, and so it like makes it seem like he's like saying a lot and like participating, but Madison is usually carrying the depth of the
I also want
conversation.
to say that like whenever he is like whenever she one thing I did notice like whenever she does kind of share something. Now I didn't write all of this down because I thought all of their conversations were pretty boring. It kind of seems like he never like really gives her any reassurance
He's bad at
when
it.
she is like seeking that. He kind of like he makes some the things kind of about him in a weird way that I think is kind of like immature.
He
Um,
laughs a
the
lot of things off.
the one thing that I noticed was in the last episode where she spoke about where it really sounded like her coping with like some sort of like depression or anxiety disorder. And he was really like, I need to process this. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to survive like with you being like, and I was just like,
The dissociation. Yeah.
yeah. And I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
This
I
ain't
mean,
about you, Buki. Didn't he have the confessional where he was like, I love to make everybody feel included and seen?
yes, he did.
That was
And
a lie.
the thing about that particular dissociation conversation that kind of like bothered me on Madison's side of things is to me it becomes really obvious that her like, attachment style kind of rears its ugly head because he's like, he asks how he can help and she's like, I'm independent, I can do it, it's fine. You're probably not even going to notice that it's happening. And I was like, girl, that's not a good thing. Like, that's not what healing should probably look like in that
Hmm.
situation. But he has a habit of like quite literally nervous giggling and then being like, oh, I understand, or like, I will try to support you in that. But then he does that, like, I have to process things twice about her attachment style and her dissociation, where he's like,
Yeah.
I just have to think about it. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah, yeah. Now,
what?
what does healing look like to you? Because I think I disagree with you here. What does healing look like to you for what she described?
Well, my thinking on the attachment style thing is like, well, maybe we should probably be able to recognize that if we want help, we're allowed to have it, first and foremost, even though she does talk about being resourced a lot. And then on the dissociation thing, where she was like, yeah, you probably won't even, well, she doesn't say it flippantly, but she's like, yes, you probably won't even notice. So it's not a big deal. I was like, Miss Mamas, I think it should maybe be a big deal. Not in like a everybody's freaking out kind of way, but like I would hope that your partner would notice that you're not present. Like I would really hope your partner would notice that you're not present.
So I mean, I guess I didn't get that. Let me pause for the cause. No,
Yes.
let's finish this because I need to get the other light on because my son is dropping
Oh, okay.
expeditiously. But we'll finish this and then I'll get the other light on. I didn't really notice. Well, I didn't read it like that because I actually think the what Madison describes to me sounds like the best way to handle your mental health issues. I think
I
process as much as
forgot.
you can before you tap anybody. Like no, honestly,
That's
because
fair. Yeah.
I do think that a lot of like mental health, a lot of like I think a lot of like therapy language, a lot of like our how do you say like colonial sort of like
Mm.
discussions or colloquial
Colonial still fits. Let's be honest.
colloquial discussions around like therapy and healing and stuff, it's just adopting a bunch of like coping mechanisms and
Yeah.
not actually like knowing how to live, right? Like, do you get what
Mm.
I'm saying? It's
Yes.
about like performing like good feelings,
Wellness.
like things that make you feel good in the moment, and not
Hmm.
actually like working through to just be good all the time.
Yes.
And like largely what I think about is the way we talk about like triggers and coping mechanisms and stuff, and that like they're gonna be these things that are like always a part of you, like. And I think like at a certain point you need to get to a place where you can hear the bad thing, see the bad thing, and like regulate yourself and not have to be removed from
Yes.
it like constantly, with some exception. But like I think like largely that's what you want to get to. And like what I heard her saying is I understand that I like have this thing. I understand that I have this issue. I'm
Hmm.
not like I figure out a way to like process. I figure out a way. I like the thing is I didn't really know she was what she was talking about. Like that's why I said it sounds like depression. It sounds like an anxiety disorder. It sounds like this because
Oh, I see
I
what you
really
mean.
because she never really like spoke candidly enough about what it is. She was just like, "Oh, I have this thing." They were talking about food. She was like, "Oh, I have this thing where like I can go a long time without eating sometimes, and
Yeah.
I just and when I'm not eating, it's because I feel like this." And I was like,
Yes.
could it be an eating disorder? Could it be like I don't really know what her like actual problem is. But
Well,
to
she
me,
labels it as dissociation.
yeah, she says that she dissociates, but we don't know why she's dissociating. That's what I'm
Yes.
saying. Like I don't know
Ouch.
her underlying like thing that she's dealing with.
Hmm.
Um, I think dissociation is a coping mechanism, right, and not necessarily like
Yeah.
a disorder in of itself. It's a way to cope with like a mental disorder or a mental health
Yes.
issue.
I mean, at
Um,
the low end, at the extreme end, that's where you get your personality, or no, that was bad. That's where you get your dissociative identity disorder. But yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So what to me, what it sounded like she was describing is that like this is how I cope, but like, and it didn't even really sound like to like a coping mechanism in a way to me where it just really sounded like I have, I think, it sounded like I have figured out a way, or this thing happens to me. It's not your issue. I'm
Hmm.
not going to make it your issue. I'm going to handle it. And what she didn't say, which maybe she should have said, is like in the case where I cannot handle it, like this is how you can support. But I think like I have like I think that's like pretty normal. I'm not normal. I think that's pretty like fair to say like I'm a grown ass person. I know how to like manage and work through my
Hmm.
emotions, and it's really like not your issue. It's not gonna be like you're not gonna be impacted by it. I'm not gonna be somebody that's like cussing you out when I'm having this issue. I'm not gonna be like hitting you or doing, or it's not gonna affect our relationship. You might not even notice because I'm just
Yeah.
gonna
Well,
um
she does say that she forgets things, and that's part of the reason why Alex, because she asked him, like, is it going to be a problem that like I forget things? And that's where he starts to like falter a little bit, which was where he really bothered me then, because I was like, not that he has to know what dissociation is, but yeah, like if you are dissociating, like you tend to forget things. Also, people with depression, like it really affects your memory if that's what's happening to her.
Mhm.
And so he was like, ooh, like that's when he started to get a little squirrely, where he was like, oh, I don't know, I have to process it. And I was like, she's not saying she has amnesia. She's just saying that she's not always completely tuned
Yeah,
into
I
the
think
environment.
I think like what my only issue with Alex is that I think he interpreted like a lot of those like uncomfortable like whatever uncomfortable like moments between
Yeah.
him and her, he interpreted it in like the worst case scenario.
Yes,
And like
absolutely.
part of that you can say is because she's not like doing a good job of explaining. Like she is like minimizing so much that he's like, what are you hiding? But like he does interpret it in like the worst case scenario, and then he's like talking about and then he's not able to like verbally like show support in the moment.
No.
Um in a way that like he's kind of like fronting like he would. I don't know.
Yes.
Like I just think I don't know if she is leaning toward him because I feel like in the last episode, like there was a little bit of like
The thing with
weirdness
Mason.
around like who she actually likes. Is it kind of I don't know if you caught that. Like I think she
Yes.
like she's bothered by someone and then she's like I'm she tells Alex that she's not sure about Mason and then she meets Mason. She's like I'm super sure about you or something like that.
Yes. She does a
In any
lot of
case, I think she's gonna be disappointed when she see Alex anyway.
I wrote to myself, Madison is torturing Mason because she's mad at Alex. She's blowing up her relationship with Mason by like giving up Meg's or Margaret's foolishness. Like, because she spends a lot of time at the end. She spends a lot of time in the third episode with Mason talking about Margaret and like how Margaret feels about him and like all of these things. And I was like, oh, girl, what are we doing? Like, why would you? Because this comes on the heels of her saying, like, I don't really mind that like one of my matches, Mason, is talking to another woman because like I'm more leaning toward Alex. But then she starts to blow up Margaret's spot in like a very weird way after she like gets into like a little bit of a confrontation with Alex and like takes it to Mason. And I'm just like, girl, what? Why? I thought you did not care if Mason was talking to other women and now you're blowing up Margaret's spot. I'm gonna keep calling her Margaret because we got too many M's.
Yeah. I mean, do you have anything else from these folks?
No, that's all of them. I mean, we do revisit the pyramid thing again with the glowing green tablets.
Yeah, they do. And he didn't even really know what he was talking about. Like, child,
No,
it was sickening.
it was really
I
upsetting.
mostly want them to make the final show because I want to hear more of this. I want to be like, this is the most entertaining thing that's taught that's happening is
It is.
colonialism.
Deep and Tim Walls, I'm looking at you sideways. What are we teaching in these Minnesota schools, King?
Give me a second. Let me turn the slide on. We can move
Yes.
on. Daniel and Taylor. Daniel is our 5'8", and
Oh, yes, his
I
personality
don't
is
know
5'8",
much
as you
about
said.
Taylor. Taylor is she's the GI nurse. She's the colonoscopy nurse.
Is she? I thought Meg was no. Meg is the on. No, Sarah's the oncology nurse.
No, Taylor. I don't know nothing but who the fuck is Sarah? Taylor. I know for a fact Taylor does colonoscopy. Do they have the same job?
We got lots of nurses.
I know that. Sarah is an oncology nurse. Taylor is a wait. What? Why isn't this in alphabetical order? It is in alphabetical order. I'm just not smart. Taylor's a colonoscopy nurse. Yeah.
Okay, and then Meg is also an oncology nurse.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, isn't
Oh,
the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota?
yeah.
Oh, that's why. I was like, why we got an abundance of nurses? The Mayo Clinic
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
literally in
That's
Minnesota.
actually kind of. So again, Taylor and Daniel, what are your thoughts here? Daniel's 5'8".
That's about the only damn thing we know about him.
Listen, I understand 5'8" is not tall for a man, but it's like right at the average.
It is. Like he
uh,
was very upset.
if he
Well,
hadn't mentioned that he was 5'8", I would not have registered that he was like noticeably short. I'm like, okay, he's kind of shorter than the other guys, but we've seen guys in the pod that are 5'8", 5'9", and like
all
I
the
feel
time.
like I don't know how tall Devin is. Devin doesn't look particularly tall to me.
No.
Um,
Now we do got some giants this season though. Like
yeah,
when the
sure, like
yeah.
sure, but like again, they are taller than average. He is average,
Yeah.
and he was like he pissed me off. I mean, that is his red flag. His red flag is that like the first thing we learn about him and the thing we continue to hear about him, I don't know if he talked about it in the pods much, but I know like in almost every confessional, he's like, I'm 5'8". Girls don't want me because I'm 5'8".
Yeah.
And if I ever get a chance to talk to Daniel, I'm just gonna ask him if he would date a woman that was over 200 pounds.
Oof.
That's all I want to know.
And you know he's gonna
You're
say no.
5'8", and the girl, you know what it feels like to be discriminated against. How open are you, my brother? I don't know.
Not
Five
open at
eight. It's
all.
5'8" is short. Is short for a man. It's not like crazy
It's
short though.
it's literally not catastrophic. It
It's
really is
yeah,
not.
like the average woman is 5'4". You're fine, Daniel. Like
Yes.
you're fine. I know the girls are all the girls are saying that they want somebody over 6 feet. The but is silent. The girls say, I want a man that's 6 foot, but if he makes money, I can overlook it. If he treats me well, that's what you should hear from that statement. They'll like in real life, I understand the internet is the internet. In
Yes.
real life, in real life, the girls are marrying 5'8". They're having babies with 5'8". It'd
Yes.
be it'd be girls talking about I want a man 6'4" and her baby daddy 5'4". Like all the time, all the time. Just
Literally all of the time. And like that really is his predominant personality trait. And as I say, and I will say until I'm blue in the face, an insecure man is a dangerous man.
no, that's his red flag for me
Yes.
because I think he's gonna make it her problem. Like I
Absolutely.
honestly now I'm not entirely convinced that it won't be a problem for Taylor specifically because she seems kind of like tall. Like I mean not super tall, but she's probably like 5'6", 5'7". It's like chances are she probably wants a man that's like taller than her or taller than her
Yeah.
in heels. Um, at the minute, like she doesn't want to be eye to eye. Like I'm making assumptions because I'm a
She
lady and
probably doesn't want to be eye to eye.
I know the ladies, but she probably doesn't want to be eye to eye with a man shoes off. so so
One of my best friends says, I cannot be with a man if I can chest bump him. It is
like
diabolical, but
I
it's
just
true.
I just think that like Daniel to me very much gives this sort of like, dang, I look like I'm sweating, but that's just my skincare. Daniel to me very much gives like these sorts of guys that have like the highest of standards for women, but they want women to overlook all of their
Absolutely.
shortcomings.
And you're foul for that. And you are a foul for that, but that seems to be the only thing about him is his shortcomings. So,
I don't know. He gives me like secret red pillar. Like someone else
oof.
gives me like major red pill vibes, but there's a few. I feel like there's a few of them on
Dave.
this season. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you already know.
Of
Um,
course.
what do you know about Daniel and Taylor? Because I really don't have anything
My
written about them.
God, woman, nothing except
It's
for the fact that she lost her voice a little bit.
yeah, she did. It's just this and the Christmas cards. I don't know nothing else about them. I
Oh
don't know
my
nothing
God,
about
yeah,
their
I think
lives.
that's it.
I mean, I'm sure they shared something, but I don't know nothing about their
We
lives.
don't really get to spend a lot of time with them, I don't think.
Okay, we can move
It,
on.
yes,
Um, I don't know. We'll make predictions about who we think will get engaged at the end.
yes.
Our next couple, Dave, Lauren, and Molly. Let me just kind of refresh myself who Lauren is because I feel like I feel like I probably thought Taylor was Lauren. Oh, Lauren. I still don't know who Lauren is.
I know who Lauren is.
Lauren wants a bookstore. That's all I know. Okay,
Well,
tell me about
yeah.
Lauren. Tell me about Lauren.
Well, Miss Lauren is stuck on Dave, and we know that she wants a bookstore. We know that she is
It's
proud of,
coming back to me. Yeah.
yeah, she's proud of her job. She's independent. I think I don't think, I can't remember her having any other connections. I feel like she locks in on Dave pretty quickly. Um, Dave, however, is currently my arch enemy. I don't like that man literally at all. I don't know why Lauren is being baffled, befuddled, and bewildered by this man.
I don't trust Dave.
Absolutely
Also,
not.
Dave very quickly, very I don't know how to say this, but Dave kind of negged every woman that he spoke to in episode 1, and he continues to be like it's not even negging anymore, what I would call needlessly rude to both Lauren and
Yes.
Molly, and neither of them seem to be like bothered by. I want to talk about the ladies on this show when we get to the end because these girls, one, don't know how to date, and the boys definitely know how to date a lot better than the girls. And
See?
two, these girls couldn't pick out a red flag if it shot them in the heart. Like
If it ran them over in a truck, I mean, my God.
it's insane. But like, yes, like the first thing about like even from his first confessional, before we even see him talk to any of the women, the way he talks
Wait a
about
minute.
like how he talks about working in medical cosmetics and like
Wait, hold
plastic
on.
surgery.
He really prefers the word aesthetics.
Oh,
His
I thought that's what he said. I wasn't trying to be rude. I
his
didn't.
whole thing, no, I don't think you were. His whole thing is medical
Yeah, I mean,
aesthetics.
I didn't catch that. That doesn't bother me if that's what he wants to call it, but like obviously plastic surgery.
Yes.
And he talks about how this has like shifted or affected the way that he views women. I'm sure that's true, but I'm just gonna go on a limb and say that Dave probably didn't have a particularly high opinion and view of women's bodies, a particularly inclusive view of women's bodies
No,
prior to getting into his current career.
absolutely not.
Let me just go on a limb and say that. I think he he sees himself as a hot commodity.
Mm-hmm.
He seems like a really insecure man to me.
Yes,
I
please. Thank
think
you.
I think yeah, I don't know. I think Dave is gonna be our problem. Like our he's gonna be that guy. We always have that guy every season on Love Is Blind. He's gonna be that guy,
I think he's going to be that
regardless
guy.
who he ends up with.
And thank you so much for using the word negging because that is exactly the word that I was going to use because he does it and he negs in the same way, I think, at the when we see that little montage every
Yeah,
single time.
yeah. So what's wrong with you? That's the first thing.
Yes,
And then
thank
at some
you.
point, Lauren mentions her age. She's 30, and he says, "So you're no longer beautiful." He says like he has many of these things, and they're so quick. But for me, they always kind of like register. I think also the
Yes.
way he talks about his career is a very subtle way to sow insecurity in the women that he's talking to
Yes.
because he brings up like that he works in like cosmetics and in plastic surgery and then he mentions like so I'm around like and it's I'm around like I don't know if he says this per se but I remember noting that like the way he mentions how frequently he's seeing like naked women or women's bodies or the perfect this that or the third. I don't know if he doesn't use those words. I can't remember what he says. I wish I could. But the
He says
way he
something like,
speaks,
I'm always around Botox,
yes,
filler.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. He talks
Mm-hmm.
about the cosmetic surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
The way he like emphasizes it to the girls, it's kind of like I'm around women who are honestly killing themselves to meet a beauty standard that you probably don't meet naturally if you haven't had any work done.
Yeah. And coupled with this like thing that he keeps returning to with Lauren and Molly a little bit, but I feel like a little bit more with Lauren of
Hmm.
this idea that he hasn't always been a good guy and that like
That's what I was
uh
about to touch on, but yeah, you
yes,
got
and
it.
that he continues to me he's using it as like oh God, like when you have negotiating tactics, like a foot in the door, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm disarming. That's actually the word that I'm looking for. Like where he continues to bring up, like, oh, I wasn't always a good guy, I wasn't always a good guy, but I'm working on it. And we keep getting these, well, not keep, but we got these like confessionals more so in like the first episode of him talking about like the way that he's been an asshole before, but then he's like really changing and he's came on Love is Blind to really figure out if he is that guy or if he can be different. And I'm like, this is, and
The
I know you don't
thing,
like the over therapizing, but I'm like, babe, why are you using these women as an experiment? Can't you go talk to somebody about
this
this?
is this is the thing that like really like solidify for me that like he's a manipulator that's been honing these skills for a while.
Yes, thank you.
And honestly, Molly doesn't stand a chance, girl. You need to run. I feel like Lauren might fare. Well, no, actually, no, no.
No, because
um,
he negs them. But like, I'm just like, I'm stuck on the negging because why would you? You know what it reminds me of? Did you watch the Shake season?
yeah,
Like that was Shake was negging, but
yeah,
pretty much with the exception of, well, he doesn't really neg Deep T actually, but with all the women that Shake negs, they immediately are like, oh my God, ew, don't ever talk to me again. But as you said, we're going to talk about the women later on in this episode, but pretty much Megan, or not Megan, Molly, Lauren and Molly get negged and then like do nothing about it.
yeah. No,
Oy.
what sort of like
Maybe the
solidify for me that he's probably not a good guy is he gets there's a point where I remember, I think it was to Lauren where he talks about, I just want to be a man of integrity, the way my mom, like the way used that, and then like it came back later that like he was basically just talking about cheating. I'm like, girl, you could have just said that you cheated on somebody before. Like, I don't know why you had
That's
to go like let women rest. Like, let that lady rest. Why are you
let your
invoking her?
literal deceased mother
Like,
rest.
why are you invoking that lady's name to like get your game off? That's whack. I think Dave is going to be the worst man by a country mile
Who,
on this season.
who do you
Um,
think he picks?
I don't know. Molly. Now, like the only thing that I kind of like found Molly falls hard, and she's very chatty about it in the lounge. Molly and Lauren are the reason why I want these people separated during this portion. I want everybody in solitary confinement.
This is the first time I've ever agreed with you on that. Yes.
Like this is the first time I've honestly ever thought it. It's
Oh,
just, I just every season now somebody is overhearing, and one largely because like the show has become, the contestants have started to sort of like gamify the show. I also think that's why we're seeing like the triangles that we're seeing, because I think people are trying to like hold on. They also know you're going to get more TV time if you have multiple connections further down. I
yeah.
think people are trying to hold on to as many people as possible and feign like they are like actually conflicted. I don't think any of these people are truthfully conflicted except for maybe like Madison. Like I don't think any of the other people that are in these triangles are like truthfully conflicted. Like I think they have like a connection that they want, and they're just
Hmm.
kind of like doing whatever.
Which is what I
I,
think Mason is doing.
I also think that like I what I thought was interesting is that Dave and Molly both, like we have a bunch of Catholic school alumni alumni here, but Dave and Molly are the two ones that we meet first, and like their conversations are quite sexual. They're not the only ones, but like they are like they're on that freaky talk. Oh, he has the playlist. Lauren wants him to change the playlist.
Oh,
Um,
yes, that was funny.
and he's the one true centrist. The other thing about Dave are his politics. His politics seem straight out of like a YouTube comment section on like a insert any like political podcast. It's
Oh
like
my God. I didn't know if we were going to talk about it or not, but I literally just was like, oh my God, please shut up.
I don't know that I felt like please shut up, but it's just it's like the only thing that I thought was interesting about their, like nothing about their conversation was like particularly like profound in either way on
Mhm.
politics. The only thing that I thought was like interesting, and this is like a thing probably for Love is Blind, is Dave mentions, well, she mentions, Molly mentions that her parents were different political parties. And
Yes.
then Dave mentions like, yeah, like I don't know why it's like such a big deal now. I feel like in a post-Trump era, it absolutely matters. Like that's the only thing. Like I feel
Thank you.
like pre-Trump it didn't matter. Like you could kind of, hey, it was just differences. It was just differences. Post-Trump, it's not just differences
And not
anymore,
even
and you
post
can't be
Trump
this stuff.
only, but you filmed in 2024, babe. Like, we just came from that year. It was wretched and awful because of that
Well, when
man.
did they film exactly? Because if they were probably filming pre-election. Like
Oh, no,
they're
they're definitely filming
yeah,
pre-election,
like
but
they're
they're
filming in like January. No, yeah, because they were filming they were probably already done filming because remember I just saw that picture.
reunion.
We saw Brittany, Joey, and Alex on the reunion, and Joey's
Mm-hmm.
hair was very long
Mm-hmm.
on there. And so in here he's talking about growing to 18 inches. So he's like above the shoulders. He was below the
Yes.
shoulders then. So they probably filmed much earlier than that.
Yeah, they have winter weddings because we see the little preview and they're it's snowing during like most of the wedding previews. But that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like it happened in the calendar year of 2024, which means like even more so. That's why Dave's comment pissed me off. Because I was like, we're having this argument in 2024 that
Yeah.
we should all just be able to kumbaya. Please be quiet. Also, you and I talked about this last season. Netflix's seemingly new comfortability with Love is Blind, having weird political discussions is I don't know if I didn't I was like, last season, and now I'm kind of even more
The
like, I
way
don't know if I
the way
want to
I
hear
feel
this.
about it is one, I don't think I feel very strongly about it, but I think these conversations always happen in the pods and they just aren't shown.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they're being shown. I don't know, like I don't know
Mm.
what who was the production company? Kinetic Productions. I don't know what their like where their political affiliations lie. I don't really know where Netflix's lie. I can kind of guess. They're probably like Dave.
Probably
um
like Dave, yeah.
but yeah, like I don't know. I'm not like I don't really care that it's here. That was the only interesting bit that I found. I was just like, it matters because where we are politically, and if
Yes.
you were paying attention, and honestly, the fact that you're discussing politics the way that you are now means you're not paying that much attention, which
No.
it is
Even
what
though
it
he does
is.
have an extended soliloquy about abortion. Like they
They
give
they
him a
are
lot
the
of
they
time to talk about it.
I think they are the people that talk about the hypocrisy of like a right wing,
Hmm. Hmm.
like anti or like small government
Yes.
party talking about controlling people's bodies with like abortion legislation, which
Yeah.
I mean honestly like that's what I wrote. He's a true centrist, like and the unicorn like real centrist who is like right down the middle because
Yes.
I do think like Dave probably just makes good money and he's like, yeah, I'm not trying to pay them taxes. And he probably just doesn't care about all of the other stuff. And so he's
Yes.
like, I just don't know why people are so mad because I'm comfortable.
Oh, Dave. David,
um
David, David.
that like I really think that's like the extent of like his like that's why his political views are what they are. He probably makes good money. He's seeing those
Hmm.
those federal taxes come out, and he's hearing rhetoric from one party that says, "Hey, we're going to keep those taxes low. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to give you these." He probably owns real estate. Like, oh, maybe he doesn't. Is he the one that talks about putting it in his business? Yes, he is.
Yes.
He owns a
Yeah.
business. That makes more sense. He's a small business owner.
Yeah. He
That
said that
makes
he
a lot
wants
of
to
sense.
own like a few businesses and
Yeah.
be like his
That
dad.
makes
And that,
that makes sense. He's a
yeah.
business owner. He's from a family of business owners. His sister owns a business. His dad owns
Yes.
a business.
Hmm.
That makes a
Because
lot of
Lauren is
sense.
like, I own a house. And he's like, I don't own a house. It's
Yeah,
Joey who says that he bought his first property at 27, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like as soon as he started talking, I was like, you have money in the stock market. You probably have like like you're probably incentivized financially to vote a certain way, and you don't want people to group you in with the people who vote that certain way. So you want to make it clear that I don't support that. I don't really actually care about all the other stuff.
Wow. Way to
Good
find
on
a
you.
true centrist.
Good on you, my brother. Uh, Molly, I don't know much about Molly. She agrees with everything he says. That's the only thing I know about Molly.
Yeah.
Molly seems fine to me. Again, Molly is like Meg. I like both of them in the pod like situations with the
Hmm.
girls, but like when they're on the dates, they're just like Molly is the one that I thought was like being like a real pick me because I'm like she hasn't challenged this man once. She hasn't disagreed with him once. She's just like fun, 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 fun. I also think that
Yeah.
she kind of comes off as more like sexually available, maybe more sexually open. Um,
Yes.
right? If
I
I'm
would
not
say yes.
mistaken, because he even mentioned something about nurses are cool, but Molly's a dancer. Because
Hmm.
she's a
Oh, he goes to confessional. He's like, I've never really felt any way about a teacher before, but Molly was a dancer. And it's like, okay.
yeah. So
Mind
she
you,
was
Lauren's
a
not actually a teacher anymore, but that's beside the point.
she's a he. Oh, okay, yeah. Lauren is a teacher. Yeah. It is what it is.
A side note, when Mason was like, yeah, I can't read, I was like, oh God, oh my
That
God.
was really funny.
That was so crazy. I'm not much of a reader. Babe.
No, he said I can't read, and he was like, no, I can read. um, what else do you have on these guys?
um, oh God, I kind of hope that it blows up like Leo, Brittany, and Hannah, I think. Like I really do not want anyone to attach themselves to Dave.
No, I
Lauren,
think
I'm
Dave's
sorry,
getting engaged.
please.
These girls love Dave. These girls, like
Oh,
when I say like they actually don't see anything wrong with whatever comes out of his mouth. Like Lauren is sick every time she hears Molly mentions that
sick.
man's name, and Molly can't wait to mention his name. She's so giddy to like talk about him. Yeah,
Dave. That's her thing. Dave. I was like, babe, you're on camera.
like every time.
She's literally like, Dave. Like every single time. I'm like, babe,
She's barely
please.
whispering. She's screaming it with her hands up.
Dave. just every single time. And I'm like, so, and I'm doing the thing that you told me I was doing about Marissa last year, which is infantilizing her a little bit. I have to remember that, like, maybe these women are actually like totally fine with the way that Dave is.
I actually that brings us to our next person because I Ben and Sara.
The Jesus. Yeah, the Jesus gay sister situation.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's Christian and she has a gay sister.
Side note, am I weird for being like, girl, why are you outing your sister like that? I mean, I'm assuming her sister is out, but I
Yeah,
was like,
I'm just assuming her sister's out.
yeah, because I was just kind of like, she keeps mentioning that her sister is gay. And I was like, is your sister okay with you yelling on Netflix that she's gay like this?
If she ain't, we know now, girl.
That's what I'm saying, girl.
that
Like, we
that
know
closet door
now.
busted open. You might as well put your rainbow flag on.
She cannot go back in the closet now, girl. Like, you
um,
shattered it.
sorry for you, but we got a TV show to react to.
That does seem to be her main personality.
I don't. Again, I don't know much about these her or him really, but I do have some questions. I put the
The faith
last
and
these
religion
last
one.
two groups last because these are the ones that I really have questions. Huh?
Are we going to talk about the faith versus religion situation?
Yeah, I want to talk about it because one, I think go ahead. You start. You start.
Oh God. Well, I
What
mean,
do you think about Ben and Sara? Is Ben
I actually on the faith versus religion conversation that they were having.
Oh
Uh,
no, that's not what I really want to talk about. But if that's where you
oh,
want to go, you can. I misunderstood what you said.
well, I
Um,
misunderstood what you said.
yeah, just talk about
Oh,
them. Well,
well, I actually wasn't distressed. I
you
thought it
know
was
what?
gonna be like,
Now that we've met Daniel, I wish they would post the men's height under all of their photos on the website, just so I can know. Because Ben
diabolical,
seems
please.
tall, right?
He seems tall
Okay,
ish.
let's
Maybe,
continue.
maybe average height. I mean, Daniel would dig a hole into the earth to anyway. I actually like really was not bothered by the first iteration of the faith versus religion conversation,
What
but
is the
then
faith versus religion conversation? Because I just think this was one of those things that didn't really register for me. I did write that he's
hmm,
Christian as a faith. I noted that he mentioned that he loves to refer to it as a faith, but again, this didn't mention in a serious way. This didn't like ring off for me in a serious way.
well,
My
there, yes, go
my
ahead.
actual red flags are around some of the other conversations they have.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, I would like to hear those. No, I was just gonna say that the first iterate because they have this conversation like twice ish,
Hmm.
and they give him a lot of airtime, for lack of a better phrase. Well, I guess it is actually airtime. They give him a lot of airtime to like explain like what he's saying, and he like keeps making a point to be like, I just don't want to engage in organized religion. I call it my faith. But then she asks him later on because they had the conversation about like, how do you feel about my gay sister? And he's like, it's fine. Like, I'm fine with that community, whatever. And then he comes back, they come back to the second date, and he starts off by saying, I just want to make sure you know that
Hmm.
I'm fine with this. And then he's like trying to like create to me, he's trying to create this aura of like, like faith is more important to me, but I'm not really connected to a church. I'm not really connected to a religion. And then she asks, well, do you go to church every Sunday? And he says, yes.
Yeah.
And then
So
she says, does your partner have to go to church with you? And he said, I would prefer it. And I said, well,
yeah.
what is the
So
point?
again, like I don't actually see an issue with him like practicing his religion and
Hmm.
practicing in an organ like participating in organized religion and calling it his faith. Like that's why like I didn't really get from him that he was trying to downplay the importance of his faith, of his like religious beliefs to
Hmm.
him. Like I like to me, I always just maybe it's because I'm a religious person. I just always like got that he's a religious person. I was just like,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. And he is like nouveau Christian in a way that's like really recognizable
Mm.
to me. Where it's like
Yes.
there's one true God. God loves everybody. Like it's a very like um, God, God doesn't love everybody. Come on now. It's in the book.
Please, 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 I'm
Uh,
already suffering.
um, no, so like
The
that.
book is crazy.
I mean, it's in the book. You just got to crack it open once in a while, my brother.
I love
We
that so much.
don't gotta lie to them. There's an in group and an out group. um, no, but I also think I think this is one of those things where like the reality television part like really plays like he knows he's on camera. He
He,
knows what this sounds like to people. He knows the assumptions that people are gonna make if he is like comes out and he's like, and I also think he probably knows he's a fuckboy, so he's like, I don't want y'all to hold me to like good Christian man standards now, because I'm not one of them. I'm not planning to be one of them. I
oh
just
dear God, help us.
I just like to go to church and discriminate against the gays. That's all.
Because he really does come back like the next day and he's like, I want you to make sure that you know that I love the queers. And I'm
No,
like, oh my God, okay.
no, I don't think he loves the queers at all.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like he is like
Okay.
really doubling down in a way that feels
Yeah, so like I
disingenuous.
think he's one of those people that like what he's communicating um and and this is what I say, these girls can't spot a red flag, and if I was Sarah's sister, I'm shaking that head cuz
Absolutely not.
the
Yeah,
thing the
exactly.
red his red flag for me, like I said, all these men got one. His red flag for me is his inability, like I think he's homophobic. Like is his in like
Yes.
the way he like talks about this should have been a red flag for her. When he talks about his faith and she brings up like, hey, I don't really practice, but I do have a gay sister. That means a lot to me. And this is one of the reasons, like she brings up like the reason that she isn't practicing is because there was a lack of acceptance for her sister who means a
Hmm.
lot to her, et cetera, et
Hmm.
cetera. And he's like, yeah, like I know people in that community. The fact that he cannot verbally
Oof.
say the word gay, lesbian, homosexual, same sex attracted, he can't say anything that is more descriptive than a vague people of that community, people in that community, right? Like he cannot mention any of those words. Should have been a bright red flag for
Massive
her
red
to
flag.
stop talking to him the first time. And I think they're gonna end up together. Like I know we're not at the prediction point yet. I think
Hmm.
they're gonna end up together, and I honestly think this is a bigger issue for him than he's letting on right now. Probably because he only has one connection, and he wants to at least see maybe he can change her mind. And like the larger thing is, I think this is why white women are not an ally to anyone. This young woman is selling her sister downriver for the possibility of a relationship with a man that she's only heard 3 times in the last 2 days.
Where's my tambourine? Where's my
And
tambourine?
yeah, I think maybe it's a cis het white woman thing, but I think white women in general, white women's loyalty to white patriarchy will always trump their allegiances to any marginalized group, even if that the person that they're specifically supposed to be lying to is like blood. Like now, I don't
And
feel
I
like
just
put.
want to say you've never been wrong.
Thank you, sister.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
it's super obvious to me that like he has like he probably believes homosexuality is a sin, and her sister's gonna burn in hell, and she needs to convert immediately and find her a good Christian man
Oh,
if
Lord.
she wants to see the gates. And but he's not, he's trying to be on reality TV, or at the very least I think he thinks he can convert her thinking if they meet.
Yes. And that's why I said exactly what I said about oh my gosh. Wow, my brain just melted out of my ears. That's what I said about you pointing out that I was infantilizing Marissa last season is because I caught myself doing it with these women and being like, oh my gosh, like they're just girls and they don't know. But then I was like, wait a minute, these are grown women and they might not actually have a problem. Now the negging, for God's sakes, but they might not actually have that much of a problem with the way that
Yeah.
these men are that I want them to have.
Yeah, Sarah is 29. That's actually my vibe from Sarah. I actually think Sarah, and
Disgusting.
I think it's a pretty common thing. I think Sarah thinks that Sarah maybe has an inkling. I don't know, but I think we'll see it once they get engaged, because I think they're getting engaged for sure. But
Hmm.
it's the mistake that like a lot of women make, where they'll get with these, like we see it all the time with these like um currently these white fascists, these Christo fascists in media,
Yeah.
um or these like traditional, like that's the term that they use, but really what they mean is like misogynistic, these misogynistic like patriarchal men, and the women who date and marry them, who think that the misogyny ends at the front door and doesn't come into the
Yes.
home.
Yes.
And
And
yeah,
racism, if you think about it, Usha.
yeah, I mean, we don't have evidence of that. I mean, I think we can make an assumption, but we don't have evidence of that from Ben yet. But I think there's certainly enough like to be wary of like homophobia, which she states is super important to her because she talks about it all the time, to the point that I
Yeah.
don't even know her job. Oh, oncology nurse. I
She's
do
one
know.
of our nurses, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know much else about her. And yeah, like that's like, I don't know what to say about them.
I mean, you and I have talked about the power of the edit before, which is
I also want to
that
say
okay.
before you go, I think this is our first time where we've had two people that are so like stated so different in like their religious beliefs. I don't think like I think usually
Oh,
the
yes.
uber religious Christians and like Christian people on this show kind of find the other ones. Like you think about Brittany and Kenneth and Brittany. You think
Mm.
about even in season one, Ken and the woman he engaged to, that whose name I can't remember now for some reason. Um,
Blonde. Oh,
I think it was something with a K too, but I can't remember.
oh Lord, I can't
Um,
remember.
yeah, Ken and whoever he was with, we think
Hmm.
like every
Hmm.
season, Johnny and Amy, like
Mm.
the religious folks kind of tend to like pair off together if they make it onto the show, and
Yeah.
then everybody else who's kind of like loosely practicing or agnostic or not at all, like kind of
Yeah.
like pair off together. So I think this is the first time we're actually gonna see like maybe like an interface couple, and then like because it seems like she is maybe open, maybe like believes in God, like probably not atheist, but like certainly isn't practicing any sort of organized religion.
Well, she
Um,
says to him, and I think the last moment we have for them of these three episodes is like she says like, okay, well, I'll find a church where they are accepting, and we can
oh,
go to
yep,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, and he says, okay, and I'm just like, oh yeah,
yeah.
but
I thought he was uncomfortable in many of those conversations. I think,
oh my God, of
yeah.
course. I
What
mean,
were
I
you
think,
gonna say before I interrupted earlier?
ooh. Oh, the power of the edit. Like you and I've talked about before that they edit the way that they do for a reason, right? Like they bring up things that they want us to focus on that are probably going to be through threads. And so for them to spend as much time on this as they did probably means it's going to be a through thread because they have hours and hours and hours of footage. If that, like, I mean, people can be boring, but that's probably what they
Hmm.
want us to focus on.
Yeah, I think we're done with them. We'll see what happens.
Yes.
Last but not least, our our only shot at Black love this season.
Our only shot at Black love this
And
season.
unfortunately, Devin is the one that's gonna have to do
Oh my God.
it.
And we had other
Devin,
Black people running about too.
yeah, I mean the fact we haven't seen them in the well, sometimes they do bring some sneak attacks out in episode 4, but I'm saying we haven't seen them in episodes 1 through 3. They're probably not
No.
even. Um, Devin, Brittany, and Virginia.
Yes, Miss Brittany B. Dot.
Brittany got a dump truck.
Oh my God. She does though. She does though. She absolutely
Damn,
does.
it's
She's my
serious
favorite.
back there.
She is, I love all of her outfits. Honestly, she's the love of my life right now. I mean, I just like Brittany. Oh God. I like Miss
B
B.
dot,
Dot.
B dot,
Yes. I
girl.
like B. Dot.
Let's not get beat up.
But
Um,
oh my God. Does she look like somebody to you? Which is like borderline a hate crime.
Honestly, sometimes she looks like Lauren
Thank you.
Speed. Um, and yeah, she does kind of look like somebody else, but I cannot really place it. But sometimes she does look like Miss Lauren.
She looks like Lauren in the face sometimes, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. I like Brit. I mean, I like Brit, but I like Brit
So
as an individual
Brittany
entity.
is a former D1 college basketball player and a D1 college basketball coach. She is currently an executive
Mhm.
and for an MLB team, right? Yeah, so she's worked with all of the major sports leagues, and Virginia is a doctor. I do have a question for you on that because Virginia has a doctorate in healthcare education. Is that
Healthcare administration.
administration? And then we have Devin, who is a
Where?
basketball trainer and a high school girls basketball coach. He might have some other things going on. He has 100 pairs of shoes. I don't know. I don't know about Devin Child.
Can I say something really terrible that
He's a
I
youth
said?
director. That's what it is. Go ahead.
Yes. I said the light brights always find each other.
Oh, them two?
Yes, Virginia and Devon. That was rude.
That was
Devin.
racist. That was a microaggression. That brother's name is Devin. She said Devon. Devonte, actually. We know what it is.
Sorry for the Black History Month microaggression. Sorry for the black on black crime during this trying time. Oh, that was me. Devin. Also, I'm gonna hit you with a 1-2 punch, Devin. What's going on with that hairline?
He getting up there. Yeah. Little male pattern baldness, nothing crazy. Y'all act like y'all ain't seen a man balding before. Y'all need to chill out. Um, First impressions. Tell me about this triangle. What do you think? What do you think?
Is it much of a triangle?
Tell me more. Why? Why do you say that?
I mean, it kind of just seems like they're all friends. Not like
No,
the
I mean
girls
it's a
being
triangle. He's dating two women. That's the triangle. I thought you meant like if it's not a triangle if he clearly has one that he's going with. Doesn't
no,
matter if they all like each other, but they're dating.
not that they all like each. I mean, I don't know if they
Triangle
like
doesn't have to
each
be
other.
contentious.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think of triangles as contentious because it just kind of seems like they're all just doing the experiment.
Yeah, like do the two girls know that they're both talking to Devin?
I don't think we've seen any evidence of that.
Yeah, so they're in a triangle.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen here?
These are the two or the three, I guess, that I really have no idea.
I don't know much about them.
I feel like no, one, we don't know much about them. We don't spend a lot of time talking to them, and there's not really been any problems on
Yeah,
either side.
him and B Dot, they talk through their nicknames. Their dads have the same name. Their dads are Junior. They seem to have like a really like easy, friendly type of
Yeah,
banter. I don't know that I necessarily get romance from either him and either of these women.
that's
Like
exactly what I'm trying to
it
say.
always
Yes.
just sort of seems like friendly banter. Virginia kind of seems like she's got the most feelings out of all three of them. In my
Yes.
opinion, I feel like she's like really, really feeling him and really kind of hoping to choose up. And yeah, like the most the thing that I thought the most about was like I think this man lying by his job. I think this nigga broke. Like just
That
because
would be
of
the
the
first.
way that he got like 7 job titles, which is already like a red flag. He's a youth director of a sports program, da 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 da. He's also a part-time or maybe full-time like personal like basketball trainer, you know, those people that put cones on the floor and make children dribble around them. Um
Well, yeah, that's fair. Hmm.
and he coaches high school girls basketball, which when he said it, he was like, I think he said assistant coach high school basketball, and I coach the girls. He said it kind of weird, which lets me know that you ain't got a lot of power over there. You probably probably the shooting coach.
Oh my God.
um, no shame. I mean
No, but
it's something, but then he like has 100 pairs of shoes. Um,
which is, I guess, a personality trait. I don't know. I it
I think
just
financially irresponsible as someone who has owned lots of shoes. I don't think I've ever owned 100 pairs at a single time, but
oh
like
God, no.
it is it's money. Like it costs a lot. And even then I wasn't even like I mean I'm not like a Jordan person. I wasn't like buying like because I noticed that he had J's on his feet. I think he had some fives on. Um
Ooh, sorry.
and yeah, like that's 100, 160, 140, 230 a pop, like
Oh,
depending
ooh.
on what you're getting, what colorways you're getting. 100 pairs, and you're not that old. Like you're 29. That means you probably only been getting money for like a good 7 years. Like, which means you were probably getting
Being
these shoes
generous.
for longer than 7 years, and you're probably irresponsible with your money. I don't know. I'm making some assumptions. I just don't really know anything about him. I think Brittany is very charming.
Like Brett.
She's quite likable. We saw it's like more. We didn't see much of Virginia in the pods. Maybe a few reaction shots here and there, but we saw Brittany talking to. I'm not going to do that all season. So, as a
I
matter of
already
fact,
started saying
choose
Brett.
Virginia, Devin, because I can't do this.
Now wait a minute. Now,
As a matter of
now
fact,
I just go with Brett. Just go with Brett. I don't want the light brights together. That's gonna
I don't.
bother
I'm not
me.
doing this all season. What do you think will happen if he chooses one or the other? if
Well,
when they see each other.
I take it back. I said that we don't really see any contention. We see like one moment of contention with him and Virginia where he says something along the lines of like, we're getting married, I want to know everything about you. And then there's like a confessional where he's like, like she might be hiding something from me and I'm whatever. But that is like the only thing that we get.
Devin chooses Brittany, and then they see Virginia at the situation. What happens?
Ooh.
Does
With
he
what
give you? Because I think he gives me sort of. He gives me. For me, I feel like he's probably from what I'm hearing in the pod. Like for Dave and Molly and Lauren thing, I think Dave is like going the dancer. Like I think he's like the other thing I want to talk about in this season is like all of the like subtle and just like hints at people's attractiveness. Like we
hmm
had a few kind of comments that I feel like were not as bad as Chelsea calling herself Megan Fox
Oh my
um
God, that was a
or
disaster.
I guess last season Nick Dorca comparing himself to Henry Cavill. But like there are people that are kind of like hinting at like their beauty, their looks, how the opposite sex reacts to them.
Yeah.
I like him. I thought he was gonna be somebody that would pick up on the like Brittany being, oh, I was like more of a tomboy and this, that, and there, and Virginia going, I'm a cheerleader, I'm a dancer. And it seems like it's not really like affecting his decision. Like I don't think he like is
Oh, I
like
see what you
going,
mean.
oh, this one is more like traditionally feminine and beautiful in a way that I might be looking for, like da 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 da.
No,
And
we
this
don't get
one's
that
more of a,
from him at
but
all.
yeah, correct. That's what I just
Yeah.
said. But I do. There's a world where I think that like he might question his decision either way, like at a meetup. And and
Mm.
I in a way that I just think I think Dave is definitely being convinced by Molly's um like insinuation about her physical
Yes.
attractiveness. I don't think he's been convinced, but I think he seems he gives like little Playboy vibe as well.
Do we think it would
He's
just be
holding his jacket like this in his photo. Yeah, fuck me.
do we think it's gonna happen no matter who he picks because he's wishy-washy?
I think so. I
Okay.
think so. Now I think like probably if he chooses Brittany, the larger conversation if it happens with Virginia is going to be like colorism, colorism, colorism. But like
Yeah.
I think it could happen the other way around as well too.
Yeah. I feel like we just don't know anything about them.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah. Oh, which I feel like we've said 100 times this episode because I feel like we don't know anything about anybody.
Okay. Do you want to get into predictions?
Oh, good gravy. Yes.
Or do you have
Um,
any final thoughts before prediction?
mm, just that I think Meg is annoying.
Meg, Meg, none of these people like quite upset me. Other than I guess Dave and Daniel.
And everyone
um,
looks so similar. Oh my
Number
God.
one, Joey and Monica. I guess our prediction here is since they're already engaged, do they make it to the altar?
Please, yes. Yes.
I think so too, but I think Joey's gonna have a little moment. Um, yeah, I think maybe some in his past, like maybe an ex-girlfriend story. And honestly, like I know maybe a few people from Minnesota. From what I understand, like if you're like young professional, like in Minneapolis, St. Paul area, like it's a very incestuous, like kind
Oh, I
of
can see that.
kind of grouping. It's a small town vibe.
Well, we see that or hear that in the preview that I kind of was
Yes.
half thinking, oh my gosh, what was that? Did you hear that?
No,
My headphones just spiked and that was so scary. Okay,
it may have been me yelling, but
that's fine. Um, we hear that in the preview where somebody is like saying like, I think this isn't the first time he's seen
I
me or
think
something like that.
oh, actually, I think I know who it is from because I saw the
Don't tell
person
me.
who stated it. Yes, I think I just spoiled myself because it's yeah, I think I just spoiled myself on who one of the people are gonna
Don't
pick.
tell me. Don't tell me.
I'm still gonna go with my original prediction, but I'm pretty sure who I know who it is.
Okay.
Pretty sure. Um, these white women do look alike.
Everybody looks the same.
So Joey and Monica, we're both a yes on them getting down to the altar.
Yes, please.
Um, Love Square. What's our prediction here?
I agree with your sentiment. that we do Mason. Oh God, let me get this right. Mason, Margaret, Madison, Alex.
I don't think all seven of these couples are going on a honeymoon though. So yeah, that's best
That's a
case
good one.
scenario. But I honestly think that's where I think they're leaning. I think Madison wants Alex. Alex doesn't have another connection, which makes it crazy the way he's acting towards her because you ain't got no hoes. Like you can't be discriminatory.
He doesn't have any hoes, and he is being discriminatory over the stupidest things.
Yeah, so I agree. I think I'm going Alex and Madison and then Mason and Meg.
Mhm.
The only thing is if we see all four of them, we're probably going to drop one of these couples or one of these people don't get engaged.
Do you
Which
think
is
we
which sucks because I want to see the other two triangles as well too. I want to see everybody here.
do you think we do you think they have conversations about the pyramids with other people and people start to realize that they're weird?
I don't think I think Meg certainly does. That's why no other men are speaking to her, but I don't think Mason does. I because we only see Mason only has this energy with Meg, right? Like he has like a decidedly I also think him and Meg have a more kind of like sexual like
Yes, but it's Madison who does the little twerking baby doll dress thing.
uh, okay, cool.
Yes, because I
Yeah,
remember being like, girl, what are we doing?
next people. Daniel and Taylor, do they get engaged? I
Ooh,
think they get engaged.
yes.
I think because we've seen him talk about 5'8" so many times, we know it's his insecurity. I think they get engaged. I think either he ruins the relationship before it goes anywhere because he's insecure and they're gonna be eye to eye, so he's gonna be really sick. Also, she's gonna be wearing heels when they meet, so he's gonna be really sick. But two, I
Very
just
good.
also think she probably doesn't want a man that's 5'8". Like
I think that's fair.
I like, and I think like that pair, like she probably already doesn't want a man that's 5'8", even if she is open to it because they have such a good connection. Couple that with his insecurity about being 5'8", she kind of goes, it's not worth the trouble.
Absolutely
Like
not. And she's right.
Taylor's a cute girl. Like she's like, you know what? I can go have me the Timberwolves are playing tonight. I can go have me six foot
Not the
three
Timberwolves.
in a minute, and I can go get 6'5", no problem. Like,
Not the
um,
Timberwolves. Fantastic work. Yes.
new man on the Minnesota Vikings. She gonna play
Banger.
that song after they break
And
up.
he's going to be crying and gnashing his teeth.
Um, next, Dave, Lauren, and Molly. Who do we think Dave chooses?
Am I wrong for saying nobody, please?
Well, you have to make a prediction. The edit isn't telling us nobody. The edit is
Molly.
telling us one of them. I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go Molly as well.
Why are you the same minded that he cannot get over his
Well,
addiction to aesthetics?
do you want the honest truth, or do you just kind of want the prediction that I made before we spoke?
I think I want the honest truth.
I think Lauren was the person that I heard talking about we knew each other. So I think
Oh,
I'm pretty sure her and Dave will end up together because she obviously doesn't have any other connection.
interesting.
But
Okay.
before we spoke today, I actually said Molly until you just said that little tidbit because I remember seeing a few people in the previews, which now I'm kind of spoiling myself on everybody because
Don't tell me anything else.
I remember seeing Joey in the preview because of the hair. I um I saw him at the wedding venue in a white coat.
Oh, well, that's fine. I mean, that's okay.
Yeah, I saw him at the wedding venue looking out of a window in a white coat. And then I saw Lauren like just being like, we knew each other, like we know the same people, something like that.
Ooh,
Um,
I think I'm spoiling something for myself in my head. I'm gonna try not to think about it.
but I could be wrong because honestly, that could have also been Taylor in that shot, and it could have also really been Madison if I'm getting my women mixed up.
And who could blame you?
But my prediction is Molly from what we see now through the first three
Mhm.
episodes. And then number five, were Ben and Sarah. I think they get engaged.
I think they get engaged,
I
yeah.
don't think they make it to the altar.
God, I hope not. And I hope it's
I
on.
honestly think they break up at the family visit. I think the gay sister meets him and goes, "That's not a safe man." And hopefully Sarah listens to her sister. But I actually expect that what's likely to happen way before any drama with that is that
Hmm.
like he's just going to be misogynistic to Sarah, and she probably thought she was immune, and she's going to find out that she isn't.
And something, please, Lord, save that poor lesbian.
Yeah. I mean, I'm rooting for love. I'm hoping I'm proven wrong, but I actually just think that like he seems like a salesman. Like he's clearly downplaying the importance of his face to him.
Yeah,
He's downplaying sort of like probably his adherence or his belief to the more conservative
agreed.
ideals of his religion. And I think he probably thinks he can change her. She might not be willing to. She's gonna find that out like once they meet, and then she's gonna have to make that decision then.
As long
We
as he doesn't enact homophobia directly to her sister, okay.
I honestly feel like there's a scene in our future where he slides a pamphlet for a conversion camp to the sister and says, "Go ahead and check that out. I'll have a man for you on the other side."
And I hope he gets hunted down into the desert for that. Oh my
uh,
God.
he'll probably be safe. He'll be fine. Devin, Brittany, Virginia. I was gonna say Fantasia for some
Well, I mean, Fantasia would certainly shake it up.
reason.
Ooh, I actually think Virginia. I think he
I
goes
do
for
too. That's
Virginia.
what I wrote. I
Yeah.
wrote this before we spoke. I think Virginia. I think like when she started talking about I'm gonna be at the games with the pom poms, making honestly when she said walking taco, she had me too. I love a
And
good
black people
walking.
love walking. I said last night, black people
I
love walking tacos.
don't think everybody knows the walking walking tacos are decidedly like Midwestern because I've talked to
Oh,
people down here about walking tacos and they don't know what they are.
that's fair because I don't think I knew what a walking taco was until I moved to the Midwest. So that's completely fair.
Yeah, like I love a good walking taco. We ain't have a basketball game, a football game, a baseball game, a track meet without some walking tacos at the concession stand. So,
I love
uh,
that. She was like our little park, not park slope, our park
gotta
something
get you gotta
shirts.
get the chili cheese Fritos as the base. That's what I get, or maybe a little nacho cheese Dorito. If they got chicken, I'll go chicken. If not, I will go ground beef. Yeah, and then
Ooh.
all the accoutrements, sour cream, salsa, no like yellow peppers, banana peppers,
Ooh.
but I do throw a little pickle jalapeno on there, some cheese, extra cheese on that thing.
Okay, I'm very hungry. We have to move on. We have to move on.
I love a walking taco. When she said that, I was like, I'll be your husband. I'll find a basketball team to come.
Now, why did your voice crack when you
Because I don't mean it honestly, but
I know, but I
but
love you. I'll be your husband. It's
just bring the
so
walking tacos here.
that's fair.
That's it. That's all.
That's it. That's all.
I
Good
hope the season
Lord.
picks up. It's really boring now. At least now that we know, now that I am reminded there is going to be some drama in the future, I'm excited. At this point, let's not pretend like we're watching Love is Blind for love anymore. I'm not. I'm watching it for the fuck shit. I'm watching it for people's personal lives getting exposed like right after the season premieres. I haven't been on TikTok for this reason because once I'm caught up,
True.
once I'm caught up with all episodes, I don't know when we're gonna film the other ones, but once I'm caught up, I'm on TikTok. I need the tea. I'm gonna go get the tea because I know it's probably circling. I've already seen some stuff about some of the men from
Hmm.
this season before the season aired. I don't know if you saw some of that stuff.
No, don't tell me.
Some of these boys got allegations. I don't think we saw them. There's one for sure that I definitely remember when he looked like we didn't see him at all in the episodes,
Okay.
in 1 through 3. But like there may be even some of the ones we have seen. There may be some stuff on them too.
Like
But
boated allegations? What was
yeah, like
like,
that. One of them is a stalker child. One of them
oh my God.
be terrorizing the ladies on the dating apps over there in in Minneapolis. Like, it's Devin is safe. It's the white ones. I do remember it was all the white ones.
Interest? Well, I mean, the numbers game is certainly on his side there, so
um, yeah.
what is that
So
on that, I guess.
yeah, it'll be interesting. You know what I did see when I was on TikTok for a little bit? I saw Alex's high school yearbook photos. Somebody that went to high school with him had
Oh,
all four
oh.
years of yearbook pictures, and they they dropped them. He didn't look bad.
Oh my gosh.
Like I don't know, like I think he's just made that little one girl said no to him and he's made that his personality for the last 15 years. He wasn't ugly in high school, like at all. I didn't even see a purple sweater in one of them pictures, but he didn't look bad. He looked like he was in clubs. He had things going on for himself. It wasn't just like the headshots. They had pictures of him in like groups and like little activities and stuff that he participated in. So
What a shame. What a shame.
yeah, he got rejected by his dream girl, and now he's been sick about it since then. That lady probably married somewhere. Like,
She's probably absolutely relaxed.
um,
Wouldn't it be funny if she was a lesbian?
I don't know that I would find that funny.
I'm sorry. I
I mean,
always think it's funny
I'm
when
sure it'll
someone's
be
like,
funny to you.
it would be, yeah.
That's it. That's all.
That's all.
Do you wanna talk about? We could talk about Tyler and Ashley next time.
No, my God, that's the next time,
Yeah,
please.
we can
I'm
talk
so
about next
hungry.
time. We've already filmed long enough. All right, take us out.
Oh, okay, fine. Well, thank you guys for watching this episode of the Reality Roundup. Please remember to check the description box below. Please remember to check the description. Oh my God. Oh my God. Please remember to check the description box below
Just start it
for.
over, child, because
Oh
I'm
my
just gonna delete all of that shit.
God. Thank you guys for watching this episode of the Reality Roundup. Please check the description box below for the rest of the episodes related to this season of Love is Blind as they drop, and also to like, comment, and subscribe to our wonderful channel and help our beautiful podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.